I've lost 5 stone, so I've gone essentially from 20 stone to 15 stone.
Wow.
So just over now, which has been really good, and I feel great for it.
That's age grouper Simon Maguire talking about his weight loss journey through triathlon. And this is a special age group stories edition of the Oxygen Addict Triathlon podcast. Hello and welcome to the Oxygen Addict Triathlon podcast. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors, PrecisionHydration.com. Electrolytes in different strengths that match how you sweat. You can get 15% off your first order with the code OxygenAddict15. We're also brought to you by Peloton.cc. High performance sun protection for athletes. You can get 20% off with the code OxygenAddict20. And if you visit peloton.cc/OxygenAddict, you can enter a free draw there to win a £100 bundle of sun protection. So well worth getting yourself in for. All right, everybody. Hello, how you doing? Welcome to the new show. I hope you're having a great week. There's been some interesting and challenging things happening around the world weather-wise this weekend. I'm sure you guys have been following along. Tour de France Stage 1 was an absolute washout. It was like poor guys looked like they were riding on an ice rink. There was crashes all over the place. And we had all manner of weather problems all over Europe as well, but we will get to that as we get ourselves over into our results section. So I've got some results for you today. I've got a great interview lined up with one of our age group athletes, Simon Maguire. He is a great chap, and he's lost over 70 pounds on his journey to complete his first half Iron distance triathlon. So I thought that would make for really interesting listening. So I hope you enjoy that later on. We've got Coach's Couch talking about virtual events, and we've got news and events and roundup from some stuff that's been going on around the world and events that are coming up. So let's kick it off with news and results, sponsored by Precision Hydration. You can visit their website, precisionhydration.com. You can take their online sweat test to see whether, you are a particularly heavy or salty sweater. Now, I am a particularly salty sweater. It's a really big challenge for me. What this means is I lose so much sodium every time I train that I'm constantly feeling like I'm on the verge of getting cramp. And when I race, when it's really hot, especially long distance, iron distance races in the heat, I was forever ending up in the medical tent on a drip. And it's all down to how much sodium that I lose. So if you end up caked in white salt on your tri-suit in a hot event, or if you end up feeling like getting cramp on the turbo or in the pool, that's a really good sign that you're probably a very salty or very heavy sweater, and you need to take care of that. Obviously, the sodium balance and the electrolyte balance is something that your body uses to keep the muscles contracting the correct way, and when they're not contracting the correct way, that's when we get cramp. It's also really important in order to sort of keep our fluid levels correct. So when we say hydration, we're not just talking about drinking water. We're talking about drinking enough water with the right concentration of electrolytes in it to keep your body, the fluid balanced. So they make different electrolyte sachets in different strengths. So for me, I can have the 1500 milligram sachets. And previously, when I was drinking just a normal electrolyte, I was actually washing out the electrolytes from my body because it just wasn't concentrated enough. So if you're anything like me, you'll really benefit from it. Check them out over at precisionhydration.com and use the code OxygenAddict15 for 15% off your first order. They've also got some very cool changing robes for sale on their site. So cool that me and the boys have bought 20 of them for our team and had them co-branded. So look out for those around transitions. If you're racing at Outlaw X or Helvellyn coming up, we've got loads of people going to be wearing these new changing robes. They are really awesome, so check those out as well. All right, so results that went on this weekend. We were really excited for the racing over at Challenge Davos. It was the half iron distance race. It actually wasn't quite a full half iron distance as it was. The bike itself is incredibly hilly, goes up a mountain pass over the far side, turns around, comes back up and over again. I think the bike leg was about 55 or 60k instead of the usual 90. But unfortunately, despite having beautiful weather in the run-up to the event, the day of the event itself was freezing cold. I've had reports from athletes that I knew out there that the weather that morning, on the morning of the race, was sort of 6-7 degrees, freezing cold, hammering down with rain. People were trying to keep themselves warm before the start, and reports of the pros really desperately trying to get warm and stay warm before they even got in the water. The pros got in and started, And while they were swimming, there was a massive thunderstrike. The guy that I know reported that there was a really visible lightning strike came down and scared the life out of everyone. And the thunderclap happened just a couple of seconds later. So that thunderstrike was, he thinks, within a kilometre of where they were. He said everyone was terrified, and the organisers immediately made the right call and said, right, that's it. It isn't safe to be in the water. Pros, however, were already out there swimming. So they came out, they got onto the bikes. The storm had moved over onto the pass, and the bike leg was cancelled within, I believe, 5k of the bike ride itself. Bad news for British fans there. Joe Skipper had a really hard time in the water. He was having real breathing difficulties, I think associated with the cold. So he got himself over to the rescue boats and got helped out of the water. So I hope you're doing all right, Joe. Joe was on the show last week, so I hope if you're listening to this, you're recovering okay. I don't know any of the details, but I saw a photograph on a Twitter feed of Joe coming out of the water, and it's not a great situation to be in, is it? So I'm imagining being freezing cold before you even get in the water is a pretty challenging environment to be in at the best of times. So unfortunately, that race was cancelled. There were no results given out there whatsoever, so we still haven't really seen that return to racing. It feels like 2020 is going to be a bit of a big red X for the racing. So we have to wait and see what happens this coming weekend. As I'm recording, 2 races stand out. First up, in the UK, we've got the Helvellyn Middle Distance Triathlon. Loads of top names down to race there. Joe was down to race there as well, but unfortunately, while he's been in Switzerland's been added onto the 14-day quarantine list for the UK. So I don't know how that's going to affect him when he comes back, whether there's some kind of exemption for people travelling for business or what, but obviously gutted for him if he doesn't get to race. Ali Brownlee is down on the start line of the Helvellyn Triathlon, which obviously the PTO have put $15,000 or pounds up as a prize fund there. So there's a lot of big names from the UK pro scene racing for that. However, Ali Brownlee's name also appears on the start list for WTS Hamburg. Now, I mentioned this last week, but more details have appeared here. They have confirmed now for definite that WTS Hamburg is going to be the one and only race in the WTS series, and is going to stand as a one-off WTS World Championships race for this year. So world champion for the men and women will be decided on the basis of this race. Contentiously, it's only a sprint distance race, and you can look at this 2 ways. You can think, well, it makes sense that it's a sprint distance race because the organisers are trying to protect the athletes a bit because they haven't managed to perhaps get all the training in, so it makes sense for the race to be shorter. However, one of the most interesting comments I've seen about this was from Sarah True over on her YouTube channel, and she makes the very interesting point that, and she knows a lot more about it than me from an athlete's point of view. She's like, it's like telling Olympic athletes who've got themselves ready for the 1500 that they're going to be racing over 800 meters. It's a completely different event. So that's a very good point, and I'd encourage you to go over and watch her YouTube channel. It was very good and very interesting. One of the big challenges with this is athletes in Australia, athletes in New Zealand, they've got a complete lockdown on flying out of and into the country. So no Australians can leave Australia to come and race. No Kiwis can leave New Zealand to come and race. So current defending Hamburg champions, Non Stanford and Jake Birtwistle, both in Australia and can't get over to defend their titles. So, obviously massive disappointment for them. There are some Americans coming over. I've seen Katie Zafiris is coming over, and there's all manner of hoops they've got to jump through from the US involving being tested 2 days before leaving the US. So massive challenges. And it sounds like, I'm trying to read between the lines of athletes that I know and their Twitter feeds, and obviously I've got some confidences that people have told me that I can't name people on the show, but there are a lot of athletes, although publicly they're saying they really love the chance to race, they're really not particularly happy about this getting dropped on them at 11 days notice. A lot of them were thinking that this was going to be cancelled, and to be told 11 days or 12 days before the World Championships it's definitely going ahead, there's lots of rumblings behind the scenes that people are not happy about that at all. So it remains to be seen how this happens. There are a lot of very, very good athletes in very good shape at the moment. We've seen Mario Mola ran 13:40 something for 5K the other week. There are a lot of athletes who we don't know, there's question marks over the fitness. Have they been able to swim train? Certainly, have they been able to swim train to the standard they wanted to be able to? So it's a question mark over whether we're going to see the same big names at the front. I'm imagining that Vincent Louis is going to turn up in rock star shape. I've seen from their YouTube videos, I know that the three Norwegians, Kasper Stornes, Christian Blumenfeld, and Gustav Eden, they're all in great shape. They raced last weekend in a French Grand Prix, and they're raring to go. But the question remains, doesn't it? That this could be one of those races where it could just be blown wide open. It could be the usual names factoring in, or because the race is so short, it could be that some new young name that is relatively unknown could come out of nowhere and win the World Championship. So it will make for extremely interesting and exciting racing. So I'd advise you all to get yourselves over and watch that. I believe it's definitely going to be on the internet, and maybe will even be televised as well. So, watch this space. So interesting things going on there. Right, other things to tell you about. We've been having a bit of a Team Oxygen Addict blowout this weekend. This has been our racing weekend. So Coach's Couch this week is all about the idea of using virtual races to really keep you going and keep you motivated. Now, I've mentioned this before. I've set a program in place where every 4 weeks there's been some kind of event, whether it's a virtual event, an online event, a combination of the above, something to have every month on your schedule to say, right, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my effort and I'm going to race on this day. And for this month, we chose to race, piggyback on the back of one of the Ironman VR events. It was an Olympic distance race. And we've had about 40 athletes racing, which has been great. It's a 3K run, 40K ride, and 10K run. And it's really worked well in terms of providing a focus for people. So I think after people have had a break, at the end of season break, I think it's well worth considering putting something on your calendar every month, even if it's just a virtual challenge, something that you show up for and you go and force yourself to do. Get some mates together and go and do an event, because without that, 2020 has already pretty much disappeared, and we're into September pretty much. Have something on your calendar every month that means that's going to be something to get your training done for the next month. As things stand at the moment on the worldwide Ironman VR, we have got 4 or 5 people in the top 10 overall, and even more people than that on the top 3, or even winning their age groups. I'm going to give it a shout out here. Craig Gardner is in 3rd place overall, with a pretty astounding 1:48.18. Andrew Morrison is in 7th, and he's currently 3rd in his age group with 1:51.41. Tom Carnell is currently in 9th place with 1:53.46. And Rick Heap is in 9th place or 10th place there. I've just clicked on the wrong thing on the screen, dropped us out, unfortunately. And I believe Nigel Buxton was also in and around there. Unhelpfully, Garmin just seems to have dropped out for people uploading as well. So that's pretty amazing to be able to jump yourself up into the top 10 and have 4 or 5 members of your team in the top 10 worldwide in the Ironman VR event. So really proud of all of you guys for getting involved and getting stuck in and really going for that. It's really provided motivation for people, and rightly so, you get recognized for it. If you are looking for a little bit of something to do in your evenings, you can come and join us on the Zwift ride that we organise, the OxygenAddict Triathlon Podcast Power Hour, Tuesday, 7:15 p.m. UK time. It's guaranteed to raise your FTP and give you a faster, more powerful bike leg. Just like those guys I've just mentioned, they've been grinding it out pretty much religiously, week in, week out, all the way from this time last year. And they're getting the payback now by having really good performances. Like I said, it's a shame that there's no real racing going on, but the virtual racing, it's still nice to get some kind of recognition that you're going well and you're in good shape. So well done to you guys. Okay, this week's interview of the week is brought to us by Peloton.cc. High performance sun protection designed specifically to improve performance, maximize comfort, and allow athletes around the world to avoid costly sunburn. They're the official sun protection supplier to British Cycling, Great Britain Cycling Team, British Triathlon, and EF Education First, as well as trusted by Olympic gold medalists and Ironman world champions. The cool thing about this sun cream, I've been using it for over a year now. They gave me some at the Outlaw last year to try, and I love it. It's a spray on, it's see-through, so you don't get all gunky. It's sweat and water resistant because it binds to the skin around your pores. It doesn't block your pores, so you can sweat freely. So it feels great when you're out there riding or running with it on, and it doesn't get washed away by sweating. It comes in a 200 milliliter spray or a 60 ml roll-on, so you can carry the roll-on in your bike jersey if you need to reapply it while you're out there. We've got a competition on at the moment over at peloton.cc/OxygenAddict. You can win a bundle of Peloton worth £100, including a couple of the spray-on things, a couple of the roll-on things, and also some bike bottle bead-ons as well. So get over there and get your information added into that. All right, so over to this week's interview of the week with Simon Maguire. All right, Simon, welcome to the podcast. It's lovely to have you join us. Another one of our age group specials. And we'll kick this off, I think, by, we try and make people feel a little bit at ease, and interviewing techniques, apparently, to get people to talk about themselves is the best way to make people feel at ease. So tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of, tell us about your job, your family situation, and all that kind of stuff to start with.
Yeah, so my current role is managing director of luxury family hotels. It's a group of hotels, five hotels based around the UK, and I'm ultimately responsible for the delivery of those hotels, if you like. So it's been quite a challenging few months.
I bet it has.
We've gone from sort of March the 23rd, I think it was, when we locked down essentially and closed the group down, and we had no idea how long that would be for, to reopening all 5 hotels on that first day that we were able to, and now we're kind of at record business levels throughout the group, and have been for sort of near enough 4 weeks with this staycation boom, and that's going on for the foreseeable future at the moment. So it's been from very, very quiet to very, very busy, and everything in between. But that's been great, and I have to say, I'm massively enjoying the challenge of leading a company through all of that. It gives me a lot of pride, and something I'm extremely passionate about. And my family, I've a lovely wife, Rachel, and 2 young children, Noah, who is 9 years old, and Rebecca, who's 5. So very lucky with them. And it's been the best thing was the first week of lockdown, which I think was around the 23rd of March or something like that.
That's right.
Rachel, my wife, got coronavirus, as well as my daughter Rebecca.
Oh,
so that was, Rachel was down for 2 weeks, Rebecca only for a week. And at the same time, I was trying to juggle the company, and everything that goes on with that. So I think in life, anything from that moment, from those 2 weeks, is going to be easier now than anything else. So I'm in a better place.
Stressful times all around then, really. Hey.
Yeah, but we're coming out the other side, and I think a good lesson from all of it. There's been some pretty dark spaces, haven't there? And Team OxygenAddict was actually massive for me during that period, and I think one thing that really helped me through is I kind of set myself on that first day where things started to go wrong. I kind of set myself my own little agenda and said, look, we're going to be locked down here for a while, but you're already on this journey of losing weight, of getting fit. Don't let this knock you off track. And I used, the team and the Facebook group to kind of really keep myself on track. I was getting up at 5 a.m, doing my workouts, getting on with my work in the day, supporting the family, through it, and actually that hour going into that dark place on the watt bike, doing those nasty sort of 1 hour sessions that you dream up, that I can only imagine how you
don't say the nasty, the lovely 1 hour sessions. Come on, you all love them.
And they were kind of my release, when you can't leave the house and all of that. They were a massive release to me. And having that, one thing I love about the group is that, on a Sunday you have to check in and say how your week's been, and kind of, I didn't want to let myself down on that front. You want to kind of get to that Sunday and say, hey guys, I've had a good week. And it can't always be that way, and you've got to be realistic, but it makes you feel like the ownership towards it, and your part to play.
Well, tell us a little bit about your sort of your journey into triathlon. This was going to be a big year for you, wasn't it? Really going for the big half Ironman debut, and obviously plans aren't scuppered, are they? You've still got Outlaw X on the horizon, so that's good.
Yeah.
But it certainly looked for a while like plans were going to be scuppered. But the thing that prompted us thinking you'd make a really interesting interview was the story of your weight loss, really. So if you're comfortable sharing that, how much weight have you lost, and what have you gone from and to during the last couple of years of your sort of?
Yeah, so I've lost 5 stone. So I've gone essentially from 20 stone to 15 stone.
Wow.
So just over now, which has been really good, and I feel great for it. I have to say.
That's amazing, man. We've got to take a minute to say well done, because let's do the maths on that. 5 times 14, is that 70 pounds?
Yeah, isn't it? I think it was 290 to 220 roughly. Yeah.
Wow, 70 pounds, man. That's incredible. When you think each one of those pounds. Yeah. Go on, say that again, sorry.
I said it makes getting up the hills a bit easier.
Well, when you consider each one of those pounds of fat represents 3,500 calories of work done, that's a staggering energy balance change from before to now, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think one thing that's massively changed in my life is the amount of energy I have. I can do the workouts, I can do a full day at work, and I've still got energy to go in the evenings. And it's a mixture of the exercise, the diet, reducing alcohol levels, and it's changed so much. And I was when I was kind of the peak weight, I was in a real rut. Well, I was managing a super busy property down in Southampton, and that was going well, but it was extremely busy, and I slowly sort of put on weight with the socializing that goes on with managing a big hotel and a busy hotel, but probably burning it too much at both ends. And I just remember this one day, it kind of sort of triggered it. We had a guest over, which was an idol of mine, which was Freddie Flintoff, the England cricketer. He was in a performance in the theatre, weirdly, in Southampton, and he came across to use the gym, and someone knew I was a cricket fan in the hotel and sort of texted me and said, "Oh, Freddie Flintoff's downstairs." So I came down the stairs and I said, "Look, massive fan, use the gym, please enjoy." He was in great shape because he's really turned his life around in that same way. And my colleague got a photo, and I've still got the photo, and I was kind of really excited to share it on my Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And when my colleague sent me the photo, I was like, shit, I can't share that with everyone, because I'm just not proud of the way I look or the way I feel, and seeing my sort of self against him, and it kind of just set me off on this thing. I remember going home that night and thinking, I've got to do something about this, and I've just got to get up tomorrow, and I've just got to start working out a way to cope with work and cope with a busy life and getting my exercise and getting my weight down. So it was literally that kind of light bulb moment, if you like. And I started off with a bit of boxing. So I'm a keen boxer as well. I started off with some boxing, and then running came into it. I couldn't run. There's absolutely no doubt I could not run. I had to start off by walking.
Really? Was it as literal
Yeah,
as that?
I couldn't run. No, I couldn't run. I remember that at the boxing gym they got me on the running machine, and I literally had to start with walking uphill because I could not run, and just slowly and slowly, each day at a time, trying to do a bit more, working out 6 to 7 days a week, and always in the mornings generally. And then slowly the diet took a little bit longer to come around, but some frank words from some good people, just sort of saying to me, you're not going to lose weight if you don't sort your diet out at the same time. You can work out all day long, but if you don't sort your diet out, you're never going to make a meaningful change. So I had to sort that out as well. But it's all there's been some knockdowns, there's been some bad days, but I've loved every minute of it really, and I feel a totally different person.
Well, when was so much so, this is funny, isn't it? We bumped into each other on the beach a couple of weeks ago when we were both on holiday, and you came up to me and said, and we'd never met in real life before, but so much so I didn't recognize you from the photo that I'd seen of you when we were first on the beach chatting, because you are, 4 stone lighter than the photograph that I'd seen. When was the Freddie Flintoff moment? How long ago was that?
I think so. What are we now? We're 2020, aren't we?
That's
so
right.
it was the very end of 2018. So I think it was kind of literally just before Christmas 2018. So I really started getting into it from January 2019. So in essence, yeah, it's been 20 months that I've kind of been on that path, and I think I decided after about I'm quite a competitive person, and my brother is in really good shape. Hopefully he won't listen to this, but he's in really good shape, and his goal, if you like, he's always said, "Oh, I'd love to do an Ironman," because he wants to get the tattoo, and I'm really competitive. And when you're 20 stone and your brother who's in good shape is talking about being an Ironman, you kind of just hang your head in shame. And now my kind of goal is I don't think he's going to do it. He keeps coming up with excuses. Again, sorry if you're listening to this, Laurent. And kind of my goal now is to go, look, I did it first. Here's the tattoo, and get that. So that that is the ultimate goal if I can get there. But you've got to start somewhere, and so I decided to start with the half, and try and get to that.
So the triathlon journey really with us started. It was January of this year, wasn't it, when you joined up?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the feeling that you get when you think about the half Ironman, the Outlaw X that you've got coming up. As we're recording, it's in a couple of weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think I'm very focused on it at the moment, and it's really helped through all this COVID period to have a real goal to focus on, and that's been great for me. I was absolutely gutted when they cancelled Ironman Weymouth, but with the support of the group and people kind of sort of saying, "Oh, you can still get a place at this," I was able within like 6 hours to get onto to Outlaw X. The poor lady in the admin office at Outlaw X, she probably had about 20 emails from me in the space of 24 hours saying, I've registered online, but can you confirm I'm in? Because I just didn't want to lose that momentum. I think for me, it's going to be if I can achieve it, if I can finish, it will just be a bit of a culmination of what's happened in the last 20 months, going from, no running, no cycling. I didn't even own a bike. I only bought my first ever bike. I think Andy Heaps had a bit of a shock when we did our first thing. He's, sort of saying about the bike. I said, I don't have a bike, but I've got an idea.
I remember him texting me and saying, I've got a story for you here.
But I've got a bike now, and slowly working out how to use it. So it will be a great feeling if I can get over that line. And I think I'll prove a lot of people who didn't think that maybe I was a bit bonkers when I said I'm going to do a half Ironman. They kind of sort of laughed. And I quite enjoy proving people wrong.
Yeah. It's something that I really love in transformation stories, especially where it involves weight losses. Society's got a tendency to judge people as, put a label on people and say that person is overweight, without seeing that person is overweight at the moment today. And in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months, all of that can completely change. I've got a really good friend who, put on tons and tons of weight and now has lost it all, so much so that people don't recognize him when they see him in the street. And he's now a runner and he's taking up triathlon. And he has the same story. People don't, when I said I'm going to make this change, and it was when his daughter arrived, he said, I'm going to make this change because I don't want to be the dad that can't do stuff with my daughter. And at the time, people didn't think it was possible, but they don't see the core of you inside, do they? When they look at you, they just see the outside of the person. And I think those weight loss stories are so transformative because of that. You go from a body that physically can't do something to being in a body that physically can do something. But the only difference is you're still the same person inside that body. Definitely.
And I went running this morning, and there's a guy in the kind of the route I run. It's in a park, and I can tell he's on that journey as well. And I almost want to turn around and start. He runs the opposite direction from me at the loop, so we always keep going past each other and like waving. Gets a bit weird actually. Go past him like 5 times, and I almost want to turn around. Maybe I'll do it the next time and run the other direction with him and say, I know where you're at and you're doing a great job and that sort of thing, but I also don't want to sound like a condescending idiot. So you do want to get excited about it sometimes, and just keep your feet on the, got to keep trucking away and not get back into old habits. You've really got to, if you want to keep losing the weight and keep getting into shape, you've got to keep that focus. And that's, for me, that's what the group does. It keeps me really focused. I try and check in every night on what's been going on, what people are saying, and it just keeps me, it gets me back to that focus of I've got a goal here, I've got a mission, and that's really important to me, having that accountability. That's the word I was looking for before.
Yeah. It sounds like your vision of yourself has changed over the past couple of years. And you think of yourself as an athlete now. You think of yourself as somebody who gets the training done every day, first thing, no matter what, and checks in and is accountable every evening, no matter what. Is that the view you had of yourself a couple of years ago? Is it almost like you sort of thought, well, have I let myself get here because this isn't the person that I am? Or is it a change you've made in the last couple of years?
Yeah, difficult one. I think I've always enjoyed sport from keen cricketer, keen rugby player. I've loved sport ever since I can remember, and I've always been overweight and never achieved what I should have perhaps achieved. And I think what I let get to me is my mother passed away when I was quite young. And I've always let things like stress or negative feelings kind of get to me, and my way out has been either to eat or to drink. And I think what's happened in the last 2 years is that I've really got on top of that mentally, and with the diet thing, if I have a really bad day at work now, I'm able to do something about it without reaching out for a pint, or without having to stop at a petrol station and buy a bag of cookies because I've just had a really bad phone call from my boss, or something like that. I've found different ways of kind of dealing with that. And that's made a huge difference. People don't really like to hear it, but the alcohol thing, I was drinking maybe 4 or 5 times a week, probably on a Friday and Saturday, drinking a good bottle of wine and a couple of other drinks. And what I've really done is I've said to myself, right, do your 6 days training, commit to that, get your 6 days done, and on day 6, which tends to be on a Saturday, have a drink, and there's no kind of pressure, but you've earned it, you've deserved it, and that's it. And now even on a Saturday night, I don't really go for it anymore, because I just seem to have particularly with work and all of these, I have much more clarity about what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to achieve. And again, if you're going to commit 10 hours to training and you're going to commit 60 hours to running a business, you then kind of question, do I want to have a hangover on a Sunday morning? Because this is actually, I much actually prefer to get up really early with the kids, and I'll whisk them away to the New Forest, and we'll go hunting, through the forest, and I'll be switched on with them. And so, all of that's changed, and even my diet has started to, I think, help them and help my wife and all of that sort of thing. So it's I can see it dripping down into that part as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
If there was in fact, I'll come to that in a minute. What I was going to add to what you said there was that, like, there's no question alcohol is a really effective way of dealing with stress at the end of the day, and food less so, but it's more of a compulsion, isn't it? That if we're feeling upset on the inside, we'll eat something, and perhaps it's a way to try and fill the gap or whatever. What a lot of people don't realize until they really get into exercise is how much more effective regular daily exercise is at dealing with stress than I think probably anything else. It completely changes the whole lens that you see the world through every morning, doesn't it?
It's incredible. I mean, the endorphins that kind of run through your body, and I miss now. I was on holiday, as you know, down in Cornwall, and the first thing I did when I got back, we got back on a Thursday evening. Terrible traffic. Terrible weather driving back, and then there was a detour on the road, so we didn't get back till like 1 a.m. or something like that, and then the kids wouldn't go to sleep, so by the time I got to bed it was 2 o'clock, but I so missed being on the bike, being on the Watt bike, and so I still managed to get myself out of bed at 6 a.m. and I thought, as a treat, I'll wheel the Watt bike into the living room because I know no one else will get up. And I'll put it up on the big screen, and I'll do a workout, and I love sticking in the earphones, listening to some music. And, I still hammered out a really good, I think, an average FTP of about 255 or something like that. My body was probably completely knackered.
Yeah.
But I'd missed it so much. And what I don't miss now is I don't miss slowly but surely. It didn't all happen in one go. But I don't miss, I really need a night with 6 beers, or I really need a night with a bottle of wine, or I really need to take away pizza. I kind of miss my exercise when I don't have it. That's the thing that I crave now, because it helps me deal with stress. And the job in the last 6 months has had some really rocky periods. But if I've got my green box, in the morning, I love just picking it up and going, right, box is green, that's fine. I can kind of move on with the day now.
Nice.
For those of you that don't know, that's the Training Peaks kind of green box that you get when you finish an exercise. And it's kind of just a nice feeling to get that boxed off, if you like.
If there's somebody out there listening who is at the same stage you were 18, 20 months ago, what would be the one big win you would give them in terms of, I mean, I think you've already said, and I think that's really important to identify that, just exercising on its own isn't enough. You have to change some of your eating habits and change the things you eat. What was one of the big dietary changes that you made that you can attribute some of your success to?
Yeah, so I think I tried to, funny enough, so my brother, as I said before, is in good shape. My brother's vegan, but I didn't feel like I could go there. Just wouldn't fit in with my family. Sort of, I just didn't think it would fit. But I did try and take a lot of those principles. And so every day without fail, I always, whether it's lunch or dinner, have one massive salad, and I just throw everything in there: lettuce, spring onions, beetroot, tomatoes, cucumber, and it's a massive bowl,
Yeah.
carrot, whatever, and it's a massive bowl. And I eat that every day without fail. And I call it like my sort of power meal, because I know it's got so much good stuff in it, that it's doing a hell of a lot of good for me. And interestingly, in the 18 months, my sickness level has been remarkable. I mean, you talk about the COVID thing. My wife had it, my daughter had it, I didn't. I haven't been ill once in the last 18 months. Touch wood, it'll probably happen next week now. But before I got sick quite a bit, I had problems with gout. That's completely gone. I got a lot of injuries. Probably weight related. So whenever you're trying to start it, you're stopped almost immediately. So I think I would just say, probably trying to adapt some of those principles. You don't have to go vegan. I eat meat, I would say 2-3 times a week. I've cut out a lot of dairy, unnecessary dairy, but I still eat a bit of cheese and that. When I say unnecessary dairy, I think, things like sticking it on your cappuccino and all of that. I try and avoid that now. I drink black coffee, don't have chocolate as much as I did. So, and alcohol is I think is the biggest one, because alcohol can lead to bad eating habits.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's interesting with I think it's great. The first thing you've gone to, it's not a story of I've cut this out. It's a story of I added this massive salad. It's absolutely full of all these incredible micronutrients in there.
Yeah.
Body gets nourished. It's not about trying to miss meals. It's not about trying to calorie count. I love the fact you've stressed how big the salad is that you have, because if you go into that scarcity mindset of, well, I must reduce what I eat, then that puts you on the back foot from the start, doesn't it? But yeah. I think there's a lot to be said for that idea of I'm trying to cram in as many micronutrients as I can. And really in a salad, you've got to look really hard to find calories in vegetables, don't you?
Yeah.
But they're jam-packed full of vitamins and minerals and all the really good stuff that your body needs for the sort of growth and repair. So yeah, that's
I can honestly say now, with the training and everything, I reckon I eat twice as much as I used to. But I eat twice as much probably of stuff that's better for me. I still eat some of the bad things, of course, but it just that salad kind of, I look forward to it, and I know it's particularly after, if I've got a big run the next day or something like that, I know it's going to help me along the way and perform better. And the results have kind of shown that, if you like. And I think it's a good thing to fight off illness and all of that. Yeah.
So you've got Outlaw X, the half distance, coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and you've already hinted at the idea of the full Ironman. What does the full Ironman represent to you?
I see. So I watch these terrible videos, that try motivation, all that, and the thing is, no alarm clock needed, don't ring the bell, all of these like cheesy sayings. And for me, it's just about keeping the focus going.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to lose that. So definitely, I think even before I start on the start line at Outlaw X, I want to have booked my next thing. It might be something cycling next year, some sort of mission cycling related. Who knows what it's going to be? But I think just keep on having something, because I think quite often what can happen is you can have a goal, and then once you've got to that goal, you can let things slide and fall off if you like. And I don't want that to happen. I did what did I do? New Forest aqua bike this weekend, and it was really nice to finish that on Sunday, get home, and already know that I've got something else in the diary. It wasn't like that was the end of the goal. It was nice to finish that and think, right, how am I going to sort of distill down what I've learned today, take some of those lessons and go and produce in 4 or 5 weeks time, and where can I cut off a few minutes here and a few minutes there.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about triathlon as well, isn't it? That I think if you're just running or you're just cycling or you're just swimming, everything can get a bit repetitive, and can get a little bit boring. I think when you've got 3 disciplines, you can dig down a bit into the data, and you can enjoy the fact that you're making improvements. That's quite a nice feeling.
I want to ask you a little bit about the stress that came along in I'm quite interested in society outside of triathlon, really. The hotel business must have been one of the most difficult businesses to be in when coronavirus came along and the country was put into lockdown. What were your thoughts when the country was effectively closed down and the entire, I'm assuming your entire hotel business was kind of put on ice almost overnight, right?
Yeah. So I think your biggest, everyone's in the same boat in kind of the hotel world, and it was a pretty scary time. I think my biggest fear very early on, when you're the leader of the business and everyone's looking up to you, my biggest fear was that I didn't know all the answers, and that was quite scary because it was a first time situation. But I'm really thankful I've got a great team around me, and they were extremely supportive and came up with lots of great ideas. And it was maybe about dispersing some of that responsibility off my shoulders and using some of the expertise in the business to really support through that. Once the furlough thing came in, that changed everything in terms of we were really worried that we would have to make a lot of people redundant pretty quickly to even just survive. So once that furlough thing came in, that was a huge relief. We could then start to plan and think about how we were going to reopen. We carried on sort of communicating with our teams as much as possible throughout, ran little webinars and seminars, if you like, and just kept in touch with people. And then we started to think about, what can we actually do better? What can we change? We've now actually got an opportunity where we can shut these hotels down and we can kind of start again and improve what we've done. And kind of we went back and sort of analysed a lot of what we do and what time we waste and that sort of thing, and try and turn it into a massive positive. And I feel we've achieved that. We didn't get everything right, but as a company, I feel we've done a pretty good job, and I guess the stats would reflect that now, because we're completely full. We've just finished a record breaking August. We work our August in periods, so they're 4-week periods. So we've just finished August on Sunday night there, and the business ended up 35% up on last year, which for a
It's amazing,
30-year-old
isn't it?
is staggering. Yeah. So but hopefully it will keep going. If everybody on this podcast, keeps traveling in the UK, that would be really helpful.
You've applied your training plan to your business and tried to find the most efficient way to do it and improve things. And lo and behold, 35% increase. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been said so often, isn't it? But the amount of things you can apply from sports and training and all of that to business, that resilience, the word resilience for me, in triathlon, you get knocked down so many times, whether it's, I think just in this 9 months alone, I've had knee injuries, twisted ankles, and it's exactly the same in business. You're going to get knocked down. We've had a COVID scare in one of the hotels. You wanted the world. It was a bit like the same day as I twisted my ankle, and you wanted the whole world to kind of swallow you up and go, I've worked for this for X, Y, Z, and it could all go tits up. But it's that resilience to go, no, right, this has happened. Ice it up. Deal with the situation, work out how you can still train, and that might be 6 bike sessions instead of 3 bike sessions, or whatever, and no running, and keep going and work out ways to keep getting through it.
Nice. Oh, that's really good, mate. I think that's a really good place to leave it. I think the idea of slamming your Ironman training on top of your business and whipping it into shape, I think is a really good one. Tell us again the name of your hotel chain. Then, if people are looking for a holiday in the UK, they can maybe steal some of this September sunshine that I'm sure we're about to have.
Yeah, Luxury Family Hotels. So it's a nice concept. It's based around bringing your children with you. And we kind of lay on lots of activities for parents and children, so that the triathletes amongst us can still go out for a run and know that their children are well looked after.
Nice. Well, I'll stick a note to that in the show notes so people can click and have a nosy at your hotels. I think there'll be more than a few people interested in the idea of going to a hotel where they can get out for a run and have the kids looked after for an hour for them while they're there.
Exactly. Or a massage.
Well, quite. Great stuff. Well, listen, Simon, thank you very much for your time, mate. It's been really interesting talking to you, and well done on the weight loss journey. And we're really looking forward to seeing all this come to fruition. Well, I'm saying come to fruition at Outlaw X. It's come to fruition already with the daily process, hasn't it, really?
Yeah. And if I can just say one thing, Rob, thanks to all the athletes on the Facebook page and the group, because they're the most supportive bunch of people I've ever come across. And the fact that everyone shares in each other's success, and everybody shares when people have a down day. I've never come across a group quite like it. It's really, really inspirational, and it just, you feel proud to be a part of it. So thanks to everyone in our group for everything they do.
Oh, that's really a nice place to leave it, man. Thanks for saying that. That's really cool. All right, take care, buddy.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, so there's Simon's story. I really hope that's resonated and inspired you. And if you're someone out there who's at the start of this journey or somewhere through this journey of weight loss, and you're getting into refinding stress relief through exercise, tell us about it. Tweet us at OA Tri Podcast. We're at OxygenAddict Triathlon Podcast on Instagram. Love to hear your stories. I really love stories about people taking control of their own lives and changing their lives through exercise and discovering, as Simon said, exercise is just as effective, probably more so than drinking or eating, to help us feel better and to help us feel more in control of our lives. So yeah, great stuff. All right, I really hope you enjoyed that. Just to wrap this up, here are some discount codes and deals for you. PrecisionHydration.com. Use the code OxygenAddict15 for 15% off your first electrolyte order. peloton.cc. Use the code OxygenAddict20 for 20% off high performance sun protection for athletes. Remember, you can go to peloton.cc/OxygenAddict to enter the competition. Just enter your email address and it's a prize draw to win a sun protection bundle worth £100. And teamoxygenaddict.com. If you've been inspired by what you heard with how Simon described the team and his experience working with what I think is the nicest and most inspiring triathlon team probably in the world, we think we've got the most comprehensive triathlon coaching package for busy age groupers. And I think what Simon said there has hopefully backed that up. So if you want to find out more, click the link in the show notes. You can book a call with me or the team and have a chat about how we can help you out with your triathlon training for the coming season or for next year even. So remember, there's links in the show notes for all these sponsors so you don't have to remember them. And until next week, have a great, safe training and racing week. I'm Coach Rob Wilby, and you've been listening to the Oxygen Addict Triathlon Podcast. See ya!